vehicle belonging to Maria Rodriguez was located near her home a day after she was reported missing. A massive search was launched as investigators tried to uncover what happened to Maria. On June 21, 2018, Maria, a single mother, mysteriously disappeared. There were mounting concerns when Maria did not return in the evening to pick up her child from her babysitter. She had dropped off her 3-year-old daughter there in the morning. Maria was absent from her paralegal job that day. However, a series of texts left co-workers puzzled as to her whereabouts. 29-year-old Maria Jimenez Rodriguez was a dedicated caregiver to her daughter. She worked at Millage law firm in Texas and aspired to become an attorney. She would often work out at the gym to keep in top shape. Her life seemed to be going on track until it wasn't. Her sister Gloria Jimenez, who was supposed to meet up with her after work, wasted no time in heading to the police department to file a missing persons report in Houston. She explained that both sisters had a routine of meeting up after work each evening, and she and others hadn't seen or heard from Maria. Police wanted to believe that Maria's absence was perhaps her own doing, but family members would not believe that she would have willingly left her daughter. The child depended on her care, as she had a genetic condition that affected her muscles. They knew Maria was committed to being Destiny's mom. Investigators started at the last place she was seen alive and tried to reconstruct her movements. The text received by her co-worker Brenda Lopez was indeed strange and aroused suspicion that something was off.
I called her, nothing. I'm like, man, this is strange.
The first text message indicated that Maria would be arriving late today. The mom later followed up by saying she needed to pick up her daughter, who wasn't feeling well, from the babysitter, according to officials. The babysitter had told investigators that she never called and told Maria to come pick her daughter up. Maria did not arrive for work. Police said the firm didn't hear from her again until hours later. In a text sent around 6:18 p.m., Maria expressed her regret for not being able to make it to the office. She revealed that she believed 2 men were following her in a red truck. She wrote that they were either 2 white or 2 Hispanic males. Maria assured Brenda that she would call her once she reached a safe place, but that call never came. By the next day, they discovered her vehicle in the 100 block of Port Street. Gloria used OnStar to track her truck. The vehicle was found a few blocks from her home near a rail yard in northeast Houston. Houston Police Detective Mark Condon reported that the vehicle was unoccupied and her personal belongings, such as her keys, phone, and purse, were not located. That weekend, the search for Maria included 70 volunteers from Texas EquuSearch on horseback in the northeast Houston area, not far from where her vehicle was found. Surveillance from the time the vehicle was parked led investigators to the residence of Eric Arsenault. Investigators observed him walking away from her car. The 47-year-old man was Maria's trainer at the gym. An interview with Mr. Arsenault revealed that he had an alleged relationship with Maria, unbeknown to anyone. The relationship was 6 months old. For investigators, learning about the relationship heightened their suspicions of Eric being involved in her disappearance. Arsenault claimed Maria was supposed to drive him to a job interview the same morning she disappeared. However, he had last seen her on June 20th. Arsenault initially participated in the search for Maria, but there was more to learn about Eric than his 6-month relationship with her. As time passed, investigators reviewed his extensive criminal history that spanned 2 decades. A charge that stood out to them was the 1 count of aggravated assault in 2011. He was charged with putting a gun on his girlfriend's head and threatening to kill her. Arsenault's daughter from another relationship gave the authorities insight into his background and a possible motive. In court documents, she told authorities that her father used to beat her now-deceased mother. As for Jimenez Rodriguez, the daughter thought she was trying to end her relationship with Arsenault. Detectives said Arsenault's daughter received 11 calls from her father on June 21st, saying he was scared and afraid that something bad had happened to Jimenez Rodriguez. Without prior knowledge of the relationship and their review of Maria's call logs that day, the family disputed the existence of a relationship.
We didn't know that he existed. We didn't know nothing about him. We didn't know that my sister had this friend.
They saw Eric as her athletic trainer who developed an obsession for Maria, as he called her numerous times on the day and kept texting and sending her notes. Maria's family had to wait 90 days for the police to gain access to the alleged couple's phone records. At that point, the investigation was at a standstill. When they were able to, authorities looked at the phone tower records and determined Jimenez Rodriguez's phone had been with Arseno's phone on the day she disappeared, according to the documents. Police theorized that Maria was likely at Eric's residence that morning, and her phone remained in his possession throughout the day. On the day in question, both phones were tracked to a Home Depot in northwest Houston. Surveillance video shows a man matching Arseno's description, purchasing trash bags and a chainsaw. Authorities obtained the receipt for the items purchased. The receipt was signed, Eric. Investigators were also able to establish that the text message of someone following her was sent from Jimenez Rodriguez's phone during the drive to Home Depot, according to court documents. The phones stayed together throughout June 21st, and they were at the location where Jimenez Rodriguez's truck was abandoned around 5 p.m. Here, the detectives had grounds to search Arseno's home. Evidence of blood was found on the walls and ceiling of the bedroom, but the blood was not suitable for DNA testing, court documents revealed. The authorities believed all the evidence was circumstantial at best, but suggested Eric killed Maria and attempted to establish an alibi by using her cell phone to send text messages. Eric is accused of chopping up Jimenez Rodriguez's body with a chainsaw and disposing of it. Authorities issued an arrest warrant in August 2019 for her trainer on suspicion of the murder of Jimenez Rodriguez, but authorities haven't been able to locate him. Eric Arseno had been on the run since 2018. The family publicly urged Eric to give himself up to the authorities.
He wants this person to give himself up.
During this time, there were several appeals from authorities to the public to come forward with information or tips to locate him.
We need the public's help. We know that people were there that know about this, and they're just not being cooperative right now with law enforcement.
You look back, you got 2 convictions of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He actually went to prison. All it takes is that one person at that right moment watching the segment that you're going to air saying, I know something, I know where he is. And I've seen that happen. And it can happen, and it will happen.
If we get a credible tip on where this guy's laying his head, he's going to be asleep one night, door's going to come crashing in, and a team of U.S. Marshals is going to arrest him.
After managing to escape authorities for years, the 51-year-old was arrested by the Gulf Coast Violent Offender Task Force in a Walmart parking lot in southeast Houston on Thursday, September 14, 2023. Records show Eric was booked into the Harris County Jail. To this day, the body of Maria Rodriguez hasn't been found. Without DNA evidence or the body, authorities are aiming to pursue a case against Eric that is based on circumstantial evidence. Here is a roundup of what detectives have against Arseno. Maria and Eric were supposed to meet up that day, as he claimed she would take him to a job interview. Surveillance footage showed her vehicle driving in the direction of Arseno's home the day she disappeared. Surveillance had him walking in the opposite direction, away from her abandoned vehicle. Both cell phones were present at the location of her truck at 5 p.m. on June 21st, and the trip he later took to Home Depot. It was discovered that the latter messages that were sent from her phone were during the Home Depot trip. Eric bought suspicious items that could be related to concealing a dead body. At his residence, the presence of untestable blood was found on the walls and the ceiling. Eric became a fugitive when charges were brought against him. Arseno will face trial in Houston for the disappearance and murder of Jimenez Rodriguez. His bond was initially set at $250,000 but was revoked. It now stands at $1 million, a decision the family did not agree with.
He's just saying that the bond is ridiculous. He should have been no bond, and if he flees, I mean, the courts are responsible if he flees and doesn't pay for this.
Maria's family was living on the edge every single day. They
My
got the phone
sister
call they've
home.
been waiting for over
I
5
think
years.
it's 2 years of all this nightmare. It's been 5 years of torture. It's been 5 years of tears. I want him to see this picture. He took this picture. So I want him to remember this moment that my sister and my niece were very happy.
Police don't believe Jimenez Rodriguez is alive, but the family hopes the location of her body will be revealed so that they can lay her to rest.